Good morning, geometry. It is Tuesday. Let's do some trigonometry. Okay, so hopefully now you get this idea that we can take the trig function of an angle and make a ratio with the sides of a right triangle. So this is trig functions with right triangles. So the sine of the angle is the opposite leg over the hypotenuse if we've got a right triangle. So in this case, the sine of A is the opposite over hypotenuse. This is where touch and say comes in, right? The cosine of A is the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. And the tangent of A would be the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. These are the ratios. Okay, so hopefully you're pretty comfortable with that. You've done it for hopefully 3 different times at this point. We're going to take a look at how to find out what the measure of the angle is, and we're going to use inverse trig functions for that. If you have a calculator like this and you take a look at it, you can see where the sine, cosine, tangent buttons are, that above them are the inverse, sine to the -1, cosine to the -1, tangent to the -1. Okay, if you do not have a calculator to use, because you usually use the ones in my classroom, then you can use the Desmos calculator. And if you use the Desmos scientific calculator, at the top of it, I believe there are little tabs, and one of them says functions. And so if you choose that, let me just look at it. Hold on. Yes, the FUNC. So if you look at where it says FUNC and you click on that, then it'll change the calculator and it'll show you the inverse sine, cosine, and tangent functions. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of the examples that I've got here. So I've got this 9, 12, 15 right triangle. And what I would like to know is the measure of angle A. So I start by saying, okay, well, I know that the sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse, or 12 over 15. Okay, so I wrote that out. Sine of A is 12 over 15. And if I were just going to leave it that way, then I would reduce that fraction. But I'm not, because I want to find out what A is. So here's where our inverse sine functions come in. Sine to the -1, or the inverse sine of 12 over 15 equals A. So I can just stick that in my calculator. So I take my calculator and I hit second sine. So I've got, oops, it didn't work. So I've got second sine, and you can see what shows up there. Hopefully you can see it. Sine -1, and I can put in 12 divided by 15, close those parentheses, equals, and I got 53.13010, whatever, right? So you can just put that quickly into your calculator. All right, let's say I want to know B. Well, I wanted to give you a cosine example. So I said cosine of angle B is also 12 over 15 because B is up here. So its adjacent leg, its leg that's next to it, is 12 over the hypotenuse, which is 15. Inverse cosine of 12 over 15 is going to equal B, the angle B. And so the measure of angle B, if I put this into my calculator, use my second button and the inverse cosine, then I get angle B equals 36.9. Try it out. So what if we have a triangle with, only 2 sides given, which several of the examples do? Well, then you have to determine which one of the trig functions is going to work for that. So in this case, I saw that both legs were given. So because both legs were given, I said that the tangent of A, because tangent is opposite over adjacent, tangent of A is opposite over adjacent, or 25 over 11. So the inverse tangent of 25 over 11 would give me the measure of A. I stuck that in my calculator and it got 66.3 degrees. My furnace just kicked in. Good luck with this. Call me. Email me or put a message in if you need anything, and I will do my best to help you. Have a great day.